go to the good Lord in prayer. Larry, would you lead us?
I will. Bow with me, please. Lord, we thank you for this another beautiful day that you've given us. May we never take for granted the abundant life that you make available to us. Bless this time that we have together now. Give us the proper mindset that we'd make the decisions for the betterment of our community and our county. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Effie, would you lead us in prayer?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Have you seen? Looks like our commissioners are in their seats, so Madam Clerk, would you take the roll? Board is open, please record your presence. Everyone present checked in. May have a couple of late arrivals. Madam Clerk, take the roll.
19 present, 5 absent.
Thank you. Next up are appointments that are made by the mayor or by the county commission. And the first of those on your agenda is the South Fork Utility District requesting appointment of the following individuals. I'll read the order. Whereas South Fork Utility District Board of Commissioners does hereby certify to the Sullivan County Mayor pursuant to CCA 78207 that 2 vacancies on the appointment to the Utility Board. Whereas the South Fork Utility Board of Commissioners further certifies that the nominees, David Pickle and Robert Gerber, are qualified and has agreed to serve on the board. Now therefore be ordered, judged and decreed by Sullivan County Mayor Richard Venable, pursuant to TCA Code 782-07, that nominees David Pickle and Robert Gerber be reappointed to the South Fork Utility Board of Commissioners. Terms to expire as per the bylaws of the utility district. So I have read into the record, and we will notify Mr. Pickle and Mr. Berger that they are appointed to that board. Next up, the appointment by the county commission of a member of the Sullivan County Emergency Communications District Board. Whereas in accordance with TCA 786-105, Sullivan County Mayor Richard Venable, and upon the recommendation of the Sullivan County Emergency Communications Board, hereby makes the following appointment to the Sullivan County Emergency Communications District Board. Now, therefore, be it affirmed by the Sullivan County Board of Commissioners, the following persons appointed to the Sullivan County Communications Board: Ms. Lynn Tully to fill Mr. Calvin Clifton's seat. Ms. Tully's appointment will include the remainder of the month and of Mr. Clifton's term, September 2024, as well as 4-year term beginning October 1 through September 30, 2028. And the floor is open for a motion to affirm Ms. Sully, Ms. Calton, seconded by Commissioner Gardner. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Having received the necessary vote, Ms. Tully is appointed to the 911 board. I believe Lynn's here tonight. Lynn, welcome, and we appreciate your offer to be of service to Sullivan County.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next up is the appointment of judicial commissioners for Sullivan County. This is an appointment that is recommended by our judges and needs to be ratified by the county commission. So I'll read that order. Whereas the Office of Judicial Commissioner was created for Sullivan County pursuant to TCA 40-1-111. Whereas in consideration of Resolution 2015-06-39 approved June 15, 2015, the county legislative body shall take into consideration the views, comments, and suggestions of the general sessions judges of Sullivan County in making decisions relative to these appointments. Whereas the Sullivan County Mayor received recommendations that the following individuals retain their appointment as judicial commissioners serving the General Sessions Court of Sullivan County. At this point, have a motion by Commissioner Gardner, seconded by Commissioner Crawford and Stidham to appoint Eric Center of Bristol, Tennessee, Bruce Bullis of Bluntland, Tennessee, in the Bristol courts, Lowell Butch Atkins of Kingsport, Tennessee, and John Blessing of Kingsport to the Kingsport courts. All these men have been highly recommended by the judges in their courts and have a good record of attainment. So you heard the motion, any discussion, any questions? Are there any other nominations from the commission? Seeing none, we're ready to vote. Madam Clerk, I'm going to ask you to take a roll call vote on this because it's an official act of the Sullivan County Commission. So when your name is called, please vote yes or no, or aye or nay.
Akers,
Yes.
Calton,
Yes.
Carr,
Yes.
Cole, absent, Crawford,
Yes.
Cross,
Yes.
Crosswhite,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Glover,
Yes.
Harvey,
Yes.
Hayes, absent, Warren,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
King, absent, Leonard,
Yes.
Locke,
Yes.
McMurray,
Yes.
Means,
Yes.
Pierce,
Yes.
Slagle, absent, Stidham,
Yes.
Vanover,
Yes.
and Ward.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? 20 yes, 4 absent.
Have received the necessary vote. Mr. Center, Mr. Bullis, Mr. Atkins, Mr. Blessing have received appointment to their respective courts. Next up is the approval of commission minutes of July 11th, rezoning your work session, meeting of July 18th, 24 regular meeting, and July 30th call meeting. Minutes are provided to commission members electronically or available to the public at the stated sullivancounty.commission/commission minutes. Any corrections, additions? Move to adopt by Commissioner Crawford, seconded by Commissioner Gardner. Any corrections, additions? Seeing none, we have Katie, when the board opens, cast your vote on approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. Has everyone voted? Anyone wish to change your vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
20 yes, 4 absent.
I received the necessary majority. The minutes are approved as published. Next up on the agenda is the approval of notary publics. As you know, the clerk will read the list of applicants. If you have an objection to an applicant at the end of the reading of the list, please notify the chair, and that applicant will be removed for further consideration in another meeting. Madam Clerk, read the list.
Candace Biggerstaff, Elizabeth Ann Bledsoe, Brenda Bowers, Carrie Ann Bowman, Tara Kane Brookshire, Kimberly Renee Caldwell, Matthew Caponera, Ricky A. Curtis, Jackie C. Davenport, Angie Fleener, and Marlene Fogelman, Mark Dylan Halverson, Perry E. Hammock, Michael Holston, Tara Chase Kirk, Brian Kaiser, Shasta V. Light, Melanie Livenby, Crystal McMorrin, Denise K. Mead, Scott Morton, Sheila D. Mullins, Brian A. Mullins, Amanda Ann Murray, Haley K. Parton, Keela Reagan Wise, excuse me, Linda Irene Short, Tina M. Smith, Brittany Dale Thompson, Deborah K. Thompson, Ethan Chase Tolley, Laura Tyree, George M. Williams.
Having heard the list, are there any objections to the applications for notary public in Sullivan County? Seeing no objections, we're ready to vote. Commissioner Carter moves approval, seconded by Commissioner Cross. When the board opens, please cast your vote on the approval of notary public. Everyone voted? Anyone wish to change the vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
20 yes, 4 absent.
Member said necessary majority, the list as read is approved. Next up is the consent agenda at your meeting work session last Thursday night. The sponsors of the following items on our agenda were requested to be put on the consent agenda. You have it before you. If you personally see anything that you would like to have heard before this body, we can bump that off at this time. Oh, did I? I'm sorry. I have ignored it. Oh, never mind. Never mind attention. We'll reset on the consent agenda. Commissioner Cross. And we have no one signed up for public comment, but as is normal, I will ask the public if there's anybody that missed signing up on the sheet that is available to you to comment before the commission tonight. Seeing no one seeking recognition, public comment section is closed. Now we'll go on to the consent agenda. And items 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 9 were requested to be placed on the consent agenda for tonight. As you know, we require a unanimous vote or we vote on them individually. So we have a motion to approve the consent agenda by Commissioner Akers, Commissioner Moore, Commissioner Vanderbilt. Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, it appears you're satisfied with the consent agenda as is. When the board opens, please cast your vote on the consent agenda. Everyone voted? Anyone wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
20 yes, 4
I
absent.
received a majority of the votes. Consent agenda is approved as presented. Next up are the resolutions agenda, and under old business, as is normal for this commission, you don't have any old business. You handle business as it comes to you. And so, seeing no old business, we'll move on to new business. Item number 1, Commissioner Vanover, you're recognized on item number 1. If you will excuse me, I've had a request from a sponsor to move item 2 to the front of the agenda. And Zane, I'm sorry, I forgot about that until I just looked down. Commissioner Calton would like to move item number 11 to the head of the agenda, as we have our expert here that needs to attend the funeral this evening, and we wanted to have our expert in the room as we consider that. So item number 11, Darlene,
No, that's yours, that's mine.
is that yours? I'm sorry.
That's okay, she can have it.
I don't think she will.
No,
Joyce, you're recognized.
thank you, Mayor.
This is a grant from the Tennessee Historical Commission if you've all read it, it's to replace the roof on the Anderson Townhouse. And the Anderson Townhouse is over, it was built and constructed in 1795, so I think it's about time for a new roof. It's a $51,750 is the estimate. Total cost would be $75,000, which would be about $100,000, but we only have a 10% match, so that's $10,000, and it will come out of the maintenance for the historical buildings. And cedar roof will be replaced, but something that you all should know that's very interesting, that we here in Sullivan County have the largest concentration of 18th century buildings in the state that are still working. We have people that come in and visit them, and I mean, that's pretty good. We even beat out Jonesboro. So, like I said, this is a grant. It'll only cost $10,000, and it'll spruce up Anderson House. So. And I'd like to put it on waiver rules, please.
You've heard the explanation from Mr. Crosswhite, properly second. Any questions? Mr. Crosswhite moves to waive the rule for immediate introduction and adoption of item number 11. Okay. Mr. Jones, I'm sorry, I always look up and say, I'll look at you. You're recognized. Mr. Jones, you're recognized.
Why do we not have a exact estimate on architectural fee? I mean, you're saying from basically $25,000 to $50,000 in architectural fees. That's as much as the roof costs or more.
Well,
Let me ask our
yes.
expert to come forward.
So this grant was recently, it's a new grant. So we just learned about it from the Tennessee Historical Commission. Typically, the grants that we have obtained from the Tennessee Historical Commission have been a 40% match. So we were encouraged to jump on this. The deadline is August 31st. That gave the purchasing department just a little bit of time to get a cost estimate for the roof. This grant is just to allow us to apply, and to be fair, once we got the cost estimate, anything over $50,000 requires architectural design. It has already been studied a time or two by Steve Wilson, who was our expert historic preservation structural engineer, and he's willing to do it again. If you all know Steve Wilson, he's served the county very well over the years. He has done all the structural analysis on all of the historical structures. So I think there'll be a cost savings there. We were recommended by the Finance Committee to move forward with this and not wait another year because the roof is crumbling. It's lasted over 50 years. So that's pretty remarkable. It was put on in 1973-74. And I apologize, we don't have that cost estimate for the architectural services because we don't know, because this is sort of a rush. It's really just asking your permission for me to apply. If we get it, obviously we'll get more than one quote, because you have to get more than one quote. We wanted to have a ballpark so we would know how to budget the grant. The Finance Committee has recommended that we cushion it a little bit, but keep in mind the 10% match that is probably the maximum. The 100,000 that I put in the resolution is probably the max that we'll get to. We may not even get to 75,000. We don't know, but given that he's already done the plans before for the Anderson Townhouse, it's just a question of assessing, going up in the attic and looking. We do not have any leaks right now, but the fact that it's crumbling on the sidewalk, we thought that would be a liability, so we need to get moving on this if we can. as Ms. Crosswhite said, the local match will come out of the existing maintenance budget, so we're actually not asking for any more money.
So this quote that we have is not, and you said we'd have to get quotes, are you talking about construction or architectural? I have no problem with
Yeah.
getting the roof.
Yeah,
I'd negotiate $1,800 down, not have to pay the architectural fee.
this is just a cost estimate so we can apply for the grant. If we get the grant, then we'll go back through purchasing and get more up-to-date cost estimates in real time. So by the time you're awarded the grant, cost estimates are usually only good for 30 to 60 days until you have a contract. So then we will go through the full procurement process to get a contractor to do the roof. It's nice to have a cost estimate so we're not just making up numbers based on our own knowledge. So it is really just for grant budgetary cost estimate. It is not locking us in. We would hope that we can get more cost estimates from local roofing companies and it may come down. So,
Thank you.
yeah. No, thank you.
Thank you, Sam, and for the record, that was Ms. Amber Torbett, our
Yeah.
Director of
Thank you.
Zoning and Planning. Thank you, Amber.
Sure, of course.
Okay, with that explanation, are there other questions for the sponsor? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on item number 11. When the board opens, properly motioned and seconded. When the board opens, cast your vote on item number 11. Everyone vote. Anyone wish to change your vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
19 yes, 2 no, 3 absent.
Having received the necessary majority, item number 11 is adopted. And now, Zane, I called on you and you weren't up. 1, 2, and 3, all said. I finally marked that, so I got a little bit ahead of myself. So hopefully I'm at the right place on our agenda, which is item number 4. And that's a nice place to start. Mr. Stewart, you're recognized on item number 4.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This resolution is to go into a contract of purchase surveillance devices to enhance law enforcement in Sullivan County. And the funding of these visual surveillance devices, these cameras will assist in public safety. The first year, the cost is $34,000, be coming out of the drug funds. So the second year from there on, it'll be $30,000 for the maintenance cost yearly on it, and that'll go into the 26 budget. And the question about, it has been updated in there where they're coming from the undesignated fund balance that was asked last meeting. Resolution has been updated. Request waiver of rules.
You moved to waive the rule for immediate introduction and adoption of item number 4, second by Commissioner Locke. Board's open for discussion. Commissioner Iverson, you're recognized.
I guess it's a question for the sponsor, the last thing you said. So it says in this it's going to come from the undesignated fund balance from this point on. So why is it not coming from the sheriff's budget and let's increase the budget by $30,000 instead of saying we're going to have it coming out of a fund balance for the next several years?
Well, that's where the money's going to be coming from. It'll be in the sheriff's budget
Okay.
going into next year, but everything comes out of undesignated fund balance.
So this is going to be outside the sheriff's budget.
No, this will be in the sheriff's budget.
Okay. Just want to make sure that's, because that's kind of not the way it says. So as long as that's clear, that's fine. I just want to make sure it's going to be out of the budget.
Thank you. Any other questions for the sponsor? Seeing none, sponsor renews his motion. Properly seconded by Commissioner Locke. When the board opens, please cast your vote on item number 4. Has everyone voted? Anyone wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
19 yes, 1 no, 4 absent.
Having received the necessary majority, item number 4 is adopted. Next up, item number 5, Commissioner Stewart, recognized on item number 5.
This resolution for purchase agreement to enter into a TASER 7 basic bundle plan agreement for Axion Enterprises in Scottsdale, Arizona, to furnish Sullivan County Sheriff's Office with tasers, holsters, and cartridges. Our current one was set for 5 years. It's run out. This is a new lease going in for 80. That's with the holsters, cartridges, and the total. Currently, the office currently in the budget $23,000. Of course, we had a 5-year contract, and now inflation has caught up with us, so that will be eating up. So for the 80 tasers, it'll be $47,383 for the first year, $65,000 for the remaining 4 years of fiscal totaling $308,000.
You've heard the explanation. Commissioner Stidham moves to waive the rules committee introduction and adoption, seconded by Commissioner Ward. Mr. Bailey, you're recommended.
I failed to get some information I needed in this, but I must advise you, lease agreements must meet certain criteria. And I don't know if Michael has confirmed that this lease agreement language will meet the criteria for the state comptroller's office, local government division.
Now, I know you sent an email earlier today, and I did.
Kennedy, you're recognized.
No, and I did forward you that contract. It just took me a minute to get it, so I got it to you about 4 o'clock, so you definitely would have had time to review it. I do not know if it would meet the criteria of that. I know in the past it wasn't an issue, but this criteria just came up, I think, in the last couple of years. So it's something we definitely need to look into.
Right, the auditors had seen the older one several years ago before the statute went into place, or about the time it did, said there's only a little bit left on that particular lease. And in talking with them today, they had some concerns as to the actual language in the lease, of whether or not we will have to prove that it's a better deal than what we go to the bank and borrow the money for. So as far as I'm concerned, you can go forward if you want to, then we'll get this compromise. If they say we've got to go back and check about a note, but there is a little bit of paperwork involved in that, but I'm just making sure everybody's aware of that. That's what was sent back to us.
Thank you, Mr. Stidham.
Mr. Chairman, since we're unclear on this part of it, we'll just put this on first reading, bring it back next month as we'll get everything cleared up, make sure we're doing it correct.
Mr. Stidham, request first read without objection. We have a list. Those of you that are there, do you still want to speak on this? Commissioner Akers, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. To follow up on what Mr. Bailey was saying, I want to clarify, I want to make sure, because I think I understand what you're saying. The comptroller's office a couple years ago, or the state enacted something trying to decide if you had to prove whether a lease or a loan was better for the situation. Is that correct? Yeah, that has just come up in the last 12, 24 months, if I remember correctly. Yep.
Okay, Commissioner Dwight King, you're recognized.
Thank you. Mr. Stidham, we've sat here for the last 6 months and went over budget. Why wasn't this put into the budget committee and brought through all the committees and forward? So here we are, the first meeting past the budget, and here we're coming here wanting more money.
Yes, we discussed this last Thursday. Mr. Akers? Larry, you want to take that question?
This issue comes up back after budget requests have been submitted, and there were some questions about the timing and so forth of getting the pricing from the company it's been bought from, and they were slow about providing information, as I recall, and got delayed. It wasn't ready at that time to go in the budget request, and so that's why it's now, and Chairman over there can recall, said it'd be best to come with a resolution.
Good enough.
Commissioner Glover, you're recognized.
Larry, with this contract being run out on these tasers, should that not have been run through Chris's office for consideration to put out for bid again? I mean, we're going with the same rule that we went through before.
I believe it will still have to go through her office and review to see if she does need to.
And Herschel, there's no other reputable dealer
Axon, it has every single other agency. We've looked. I don't think if we put it out to bid, I don't think we're gonna have another agency that can come in and actually give this to us. But we're perfectly fine, and it will have to go through Chris in the end. So,
Thanks.
absolutely.
Mr. Raker.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, all of that, I mean, those are the good questions, but that's kind of why it never got to budget, because they were trying to find other options or trying to find a better deal. And it was so late in the process, of course, we were trying to finish the budget and deal with the other school budget. That's why if they could have found something, there was going to be an opportunity, but it just, yeah, I think they're stuck with them right now.
Thank you. Any further questions? Mr. Kennedy, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Now, objection, first reading. Next up, item number 6. Mr. King, you're recognized on item number 6.
I ain't got a lot yet.
You need to push a button.
What? I don't need it.
We still don't have one.
There we go. There we go. Leave the light on for me. There you go. This is a resolution to authorize up to $400,000 funding for county relief, tax relief program. We did this last year. It was, I think it's a good program for people who really can't afford their taxes, and it helps them to get through. And a lot of our veterans are also into this program. I just think it's a good program. I think it's good for our county to try to help the people that are not as privileged to get their taxes paid and move on. A lot of times this might be the difference between buying groceries this week or not. So I'd ask for everybody to vote for this, and let's give you that.
Waive the rule.
Yes.
Mr. King moved to waive the rule for immediate introduction and adoption of item number 6, seconded by Commissioner Slover. Commissioner Iverson, you're recognized.
Can you add co-sponsor for everybody that votes for it?
Sure. Sure.
No objection. Any other questions? Seeing none, the board open, please cast your vote on item number 6. Motion to adopt. Everyone voted. Anyone wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
20 yes, 1 abstain, 3 absent.
Having received necessary majority, item number 6 is adopted. Next up, item number 7, Mr. Locke, you're recognized on item number 7.
This resolution is for the adoption of redevelopment plan for tax increasement financing amendment for the River Bend subdivision. I've got Mr. Pumpkin, I think, is here, Joel, and Danny. If I can have them come up for the presentation.
Okay, do you have a PowerPoint?
Yes, they should send it over to you.
Okay, Mr. Locke, move, you want to waive the rules on this item?
Yes, Chair.
You do?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Locke moves to waive the rules, immediate introduction and adoption of item number 7, seconded by Commissioner Gardner. We will recess for presentation explaining the resolution. We're in recess. Mr. Karst, Ms. Karst, Joel Compton, and you all are recognized as well. And you will give us, give us your name and address for our electronic record. They all know you.
Carl and Danny Karst, 125 West Center Street, Suite 202, Kingsport, Tennessee.
Thank you.
I guess I'll give a quick summary of this. This is a new TIF, tax increment financing project in the River Bend redevelopment district, which is behind Walmart on Fort Henry Drive. I'll let Danny and Carla go through the particulars of the project, but I'll just give you a quick summary of the, as you know, I act as legal counsel to the Kingsport Housing and Redevelopment Authority, who administers the TIF program in Kingsport. So this is a request for residential development of 92 townhomes there, again, in the Riverbend district. Part of the property is in the existing district. There's 2 tax parcels that we're asking to be added to the district that are adjacent to the existing district. This is a 15-year TIF. It has a 40% holdback, which means 40% of the new tax revenue generated by this project will go to the county as normal taxes would, and the other 60% of the new tax revenue, goes to the housing authority to pay the indebtedness. This is authorizing up to $1.1 million in TIF financing to support this project. Again, it's a 15-year TIF. It includes the construction of the infrastructure, and for 92 townhomes, a parking area for Riverbend Park, and then also a fair amount of stormwater, and I'll let Danny and Carla explain that a little bit better, but there's some drainage problems there off of Fort Henry Drive and in this area that need to be rectified, not only for this project, but to help clean up that area along Fort Henry Drive. So I'll turn it over to them.
Mr. Carter?
Yes, sir. As you all, this is my car too. So anyway, one of the neat things about this one is, if you look at the picture there, that's before you, you can see that that is already a handicap accessible location, and that thing's beautiful because the city, I think, got a grant for like maybe $750,000, but you could see, if you look at it, how they spent it, which was good because the actual fishing dock raises and lowers with the tide. So one of the things that they kind of needed, they run out of money on, they needed real extra parking for both handicap and just normal people. So part of this money will go to that. And I think that's something that kind of feel good about. It's really going to be there, and we have to do it, so it's a part of it. I think can we go through, I don't know how to get through the slides. Maybe go on to the end of it, but I think we did a handout for everybody. Yeah. One more maybe. This area here, that area there is just directly behind, if you all are familiar with this is at, it's just directly behind where Murphy's Oil is. And the problem is, we didn't discover this until we got it, but it's not, it is a big, huge drain that drains all that holler behind us. But it's not suitable, what we thought was suitable. We lost probably about 30 or so townhomes, but it's not really suitable because if it ever backs up, we're going to position where that water can cross Fort Henry and then can come around and go right down this, what I call a sterilized piece of property effectively now. So we've had to stand down on what we thought was something that we could do. And we're not complaining, it's our fault. I probably should have done an office survey. I do those now, because I was told some of y'all probably would have discovered this, and but it's a big issue when you lose what you're thinking is going to be. I think we originally drew 135 doors, and we fitted in here, but it's just not logical. And it also, if in fact it completely ever fails, it does give the city the wherewithal to come back in to this area and sort of daylight it. It's really expensive either way, but this gives us an opportunity. Just residential or people occupying a place there would not be a wise thing. And so hopefully we are serving, in this case, we are serving two different things, the park and then the drainage issue that we all depend upon. And I think that everybody feels pretty good, hopefully, with what we've tried to accomplish out of a tough situation. And I'm willing to take any questions if anybody has any.
Any questions for Mr. Carter's presentation? Mr. King, you're recognized.
Mr. Larson, this program was started to take blighted properties and turn it around and make something better out of these. Most of it was industrial, commercial, and then about I would say 15 years ago, we did the first one. And since then, we've done more. And then I've also heard from other developers,
Right.
well, if they can do this, you know, I need to get in on this too.
Right.
So what I guess where I'm going is, we've got right now $94 million tied up in TIFs.
Right.
That's what we're doing right now.
Right.
And us, this year, we're having to raise taxes.
Right.
I mean, that kind of makes me hard to raise people's taxes and then give something away to somebody else. And I guess my question is, if we turn this down, are you still going to continue with the project? Will you get the project done, or is this, you know?
I don't really like somebody walking me to the line like that. I'm saying if I was sitting here telling you we can do it, we're gonna try to do it, but we can't add the amenity for the park, for people to park, which, you know, it's 27 parking spaces. You know, quite expensive to do a parking lot these days, so then you have to do the stormwater with it and all that kind of stuff. It's not like the good old days, just paving something out. And there's actually a lot of field in order to bring that up. So it's not a real cheap proposition for us to do that. I mean, I would say we're gonna try because we got it. We discovered something afterwards, but this whole area, if you'll remember, the area up on top, is the Blake, I think that's, you know, Blake, you tipped that. Y'all tipped, or I'm not saying you did, you voted for it, but I do know that was tipped. All the apartments in the back was tipped. It was because it was going, that place, the developers did a great job, just, they lost everything trying to do this, because it's really not a real easy piece of property to deal with, and I ran into it. Just unbeknownst to me that the storm was there. We're alleviating another problem by getting out of the way. So I think this one is one that I would hope you'd vote for, Dwight, because it has some challenges, as you can see. I mean, you can see right down through there, that lane's really pretty nice, but we got to get out of the way in case something like this would ever occur. Generally speaking, on a pipe that deep, you usually get 23 to 24 years out of it for sure. We're at the 23rd year. It's so far, no problems. But if it ever fails, then this needed to be effectively sterilized, and I've lost that. So I just ask for your help in this regard, because it makes the project, and it allows us to do some things like for the parking. Those kind of things, if you go behind us a little bit when it comes to going a little bit overboard, I'm not saying we should do it, but we try our best when it comes to handicap accessibility for anybody. We're pretty big on it. We have a son who has some challenges, so we kind of believe in it because we've lived it, you know. So that's a part of this one that I hope that you can find a way to go for it, and the others as well.
Well, where I'm coming from, developers say in my area,
Right.
they took, you know, how'd I get this kind of same money to do projects? I know that we just had a subdivision in our area, it wasn't perked right, and they just made bigger lots. They didn't do the storm drains, they divided it down into 5-acre tracts and sold it because that was the only, one of the options that they had. We didn't have, you know, Sullivan County and a city coming in and, you know, helping us do all this stuff. So that's where I'm getting questions from developers, you know, about that also.
Probably, what, 80% of what we're doing, we've never asked for a TIF on. There's a lot of doors that we're putting in right now that you kind of can't, you have to figure out, first, you can't get it out of your mouth on some of them. They don't have certain challenges. Every piece of dirt in northeast Tennessee's got different challenges. I mean, we're aware of one right now that we'd like to do, but just getting in is so insurmountable, you can't even get into it for less, and nothing but $1 million just to get to it. And we turned it down for last year looking at it. We just can't figure out a way to do that one. Go ahead.
Maybe I could add a little bit to that. Just, this is in the as Danny mentioned, this property was attempted to be developed about, don't quote me on the time, but 10 to 15 years ago, and they built 2, 3, 4, 5 houses in there that got abandoned and ended up getting, I think, foreclosed upon, and they were just sitting there empty. It was ungraded. It was a huge mess. That's when it was declared blighted, and that's why this particular piece of property and the apartments and the Blake qualified for TIF at that time, because that district was declared blighted based on sort of the mess that was left there. You know, typically, if you've got just vacant land, it's not going to be eligible for this sort of TIF that requires blight, because it's obviously not blighted. But this particular piece was done that way quite a few years ago and declared blighted. So that's why this particular project would be eligible, and maybe some others, developments, would not. Now, there's potential other programs for those, but not TIF in this instance.
When it was originally started, the TIF, wasn't it all about creating jobs and taking these old factories and stuff and doing away with them and putting something back in their place to help create jobs and make it look better also?
Well, I think
the original concept of the TIF.
Well, the TIF statute is actually under the Housing Authority statute, which, frankly, it was originally used in Nashville for mostly for residential, for like what they called in the old days slum clearance back in the 70s. But I mean, it has been used for what we call, you know, a lot of abandoned property in Sullivan County. We had, you know, the old Kingsport Mall. It was totally vacant, pretty well, not totally, but mostly vacant, had a lot of problems. It got declared blighted, and then that's been all redeveloped. That's all been paid off. Now it's back on the tax rolls. So I think that's a good example of, you know, one that worked. And there's a bunch of those, and a lot of them are getting ready to roll back onto the tax rolls because they've been around and are going to be paid off soon. So it is true that it's designed to encourage developers to look at these properties that have problems because we want them to. I mean, some of them are eyesores, some of them, you know, frankly, we don't have a lot of vacant land because of our topography, so we've got to encourage people to redevelop maybe some things that normally wouldn't be economical by incentivizing them with the TIF because they've got these problems, whether it's cleanup or, you know, abandoned structures, or, you know, a couple of TIFs we've done, there's been environmental issues that they had to clean up. So it can be any of those things, but I mean, the idea is, hey, we want you to do something here, you know. So I hope that's helpful.
I'm done.
Thank you. Commissioner Locke.
This was voted on from last week at Kingsport BMA meeting. Everybody voted in favor for it. As Joel said, this whole property around Walmart was TIF, the Blake, the Riverbend Apartments, along with this. So, you know, one thing about it, we're not gaining any tax revenue from it right now because it's just land. And once this TIF does expire, that's one way that we do bring tax dollars in, is when they get put back on the tax roll and people pay property taxes. So I ask for everybody to vote in favor. We'll go from there.
Thank you, Commissioner Locke. Commissioner Akers, you're recognized. Thank you, Chairman. As someone as Commissioner Locke, and I would probably bring the most tips in here because Kingsport and Bristol, you know, do them for the most part. And as Commissioner King said, you know, when you look at these big numbers, it can get kind of construed in a way that I don't think is exactly the right way. So, as Commissioner King said, we have about $94 million of TIF property right now. I didn't go and ask all developers, but I know a lot of those developments, and that represents, in my opinion, based on what I know of the developments, that $94 million is over about a 20-year period, 15, 20 years, and it equals to about a $600 million investment that developers have made in this community and everything. And if you look at this one right here, it's 1.1 million for 15 years. That's $73,000 a year. And yet they're going to spend over 4.2 million to develop it and bring it in. And that's why I'm a huge proponent of TIFs. Does it make that developer whole? No, very close. But it just helps take on some of these projects that are hard to do, that are blighted, just to kind of say, give them a little nudge. I mean, of course I do know Danny, we've had a wonderful TIFs in here, but that's when you look at these big numbers, and it does kind of get a little eye-opening, like, oh, we have $94 million. But yeah, that represents over 500-600 million in investments, because those were some big TIFs that were done. Here, I mean, $73,000 a year to bring in over $60,000 in taxes with an investment of 4.2, I think it's a no-brainer. I mean, yes, I have another TIF and the next one to extend that got sideways in the beginning, and we'll talk about that. But I think it's a no-brainer. So don't let those big numbers fool you. You know, look at what the investment is and the kind of property that it is. Thank you.
Mr. Carr, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Karst, I was just wondering what the average price for one of these townhomes would be.
Well, I think probably somewhere between 220 and 250 or 260.
Okay.
It just, we learned that what we thought 2 years ago was going to be this. The world changed in the last 2 years, so I don't know if I qualify as an expert on anything.
Right. Thank you. That's all I had.
Thank you. Commissioner Iverson, you're recognized.
I was going to say, I live about a mile from this and saw the houses and saw the deterioration, and it's actually a great thing. So I'm really happy you guys are going to do something with it. It's a pretty big lift. I mean, jumping in with that $4 million to actually get it started and going. I'm happy we're able to help you. I'm definitely in support of it, and hope that everybody else will consider the same. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Commissioner Glover, you're recognized.
Danny, is this the last phase of that project on that property?
This is
So when
it.
you get this done, it'll be over.
Yeah.
So when are you moving forward with this proposal investment? When you ready to start?
Like, I'll be honest with you, I've already done some grading. I couldn't quit. I couldn't, because I've held the property for almost 2 years now. And when I run that big storm situation, that threw me off real bad. I didn't know what I was going to do. So, but we're dead on it. I mean, we won't play.
So this is the last phase. We won't be coming back and.
Not on this project.
Okay. Okay.
No, sir.
Okay.
And I might want to say one thing for somebody else. We sign on that note for the addition. In our case, if something fails, we're the ones responsible, not the taxpayers. So we have to finance that TIF, or we have to be the ones financing that TIF, being assured that no matter what happens to us, that you all will get your money. So we spend money, interest on that TIF, and it goes with it. So you know, you are not necessarily definitely on the line. We are the ones on the line.
So you're saying that pipe's at 24, 25 year level. Are you going to replace that? Is that what you're doing, or you're just going to
No, sir. It's really going to be expensive. What it does allow, though, Ursula, is it allows, if it ever overtops and fails, it doesn't back it back up to holler into the other houses. Because when we get over in front of Murphy's, we're going to try to let the water come back around and then go back down through this field, okay? And the other thing, too, is if it does fail, the city, TDOT, whoever's involved, have the property set aside that I can't build residential in, and be able to really have to fix the problem. It's going to be expensive no matter what happens, but we're standing out of the way, because you probably don't really want to find out, you know, what might happen if you did build it in that zone. You could have the right to build it in most of it, but would you want to after you discover that the pipe that has worked marvelously, and the developers who did that in the past in that regard, as far as I can tell, they did a good job on it, but it just wasn't ever planned that they would ever probably be residential here. We're getting ready to do something like that, and you have to be more careful, as you know. when you do residential. Because you got families, it's not just a commercial piece of property.
Thank you.
Yes,
Mr. Means, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am in support of what y'all are doing, and I'm really thankful that you all you're doing the work that you're doing over there. However, I need to voice my concerns for just the TIF in general. It might be a really good idea for people who have the money to apply for such a deal. I'm a little concerned, not for your all's situation, but my concern right now is this an example of, does this hurt the middle class to lower class? Because I'm just talking about your average guy who's just trying to work to provide his family. He's just going to work every day, and he doesn't know about these types of things, and he's paying his taxes, he's doing the permits, he's following all the regulations, and I needed to voice that concern about the TIFs, because I can see how this can get out of hand very quickly, but I am in supportive of what you all are doing, but I just needed to say that for the record, so thank you.
Thank you. The board appears to be clear. I believe Commissioner Jones,
When this riverbed property got sold, there was a track along the river that was given for an extension of the Greenbelt. I serve on that committee. We've worked on it, and if you look on the back page of your handout, you'll see that's where that picture is, Danny, on it.
Yeah, okay, yes, sir.
They're going to extend access to this, and it opens up a whole new area of Greenbelt for the residents out there, well, the residents of Sullivan County. We weren't able to, we got this part built, but we weren't able to get the access in. And this is going to give that access to that Greenbelt, and that's the parking spaces Danny was talking about in that parking lot they've got to put in, is back here to allow access to the citizens to use this property. Thank you.
thank you. The board is now clear once again. Seeing no further questions, Commissioner Locke renews his motion for the immediate introduction and adoption of item number 6. I'm sorry, 7. We will go back into session. Ms. Carr, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Cotton. We're back in session.
Thank you.
When the board opens, please cast your vote on item number 7. Requires 16 votes to pass. Everyone voted. Anyone wish to change a vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
20 yes, 1 no, 3 absent.
Having received the necessary majority, item number 7 is adopted. Next up, item number 8, Mr. Akers, you're recognized on item number 8.
Thank you, Chairman. This is item number 8, a resolution approving an amendment to the redevelopment plan authorizing additional TIF financing for Hudson Terrace project and extending the term of the Volunteer Parkway South Redevelopment District. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the original TIF was for 15 years and 1.7 million. Obviously, for most of you that weren't here, that was the right across from the Bristol Motor Speedway and that mountain of shell and rock and everything else over there. That was, and so it took a while to get started, but they're there. The housing is up, looking much better than it ever has been. And so they've asked for an extension from 15 to 20 years and up to 2.1 million, which was approved by the Bristol Housing Authority and the City of Bristol on the Bristol Housing Authority on June 26, 2024. And so the developers are here if anybody has any questions. But we
Mr. Akers moves immediate introduction and adoption of item number 8. Is that correct?
Yes.
Second by Commissioner Harvey. floor is open for proper motions. Floor is open for discussion on item number 8. Looks like we'll go into recess for questions for our guests. Mr. Carr, you're recognized. Oh, you don't? Okay. Anybody else have any questions for Mr. Cochran or Mr. Carr or the sponsors? Seeing none, gentlemen, I think we'll go back into session and vote on this. Board's clear. The board opens. Cast your vote on item number 8. Requires 16 votes for passage. Everyone voted? Anyone wish to change your vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
20 yes, 1 no, 3 yes.
I receive necessary majority. Item number 8 is adopted. Thank you, gentlemen. Commissioner Akers, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. And Joel, while you're just still standing there, I just, because there are a lot of questions about TIFs or how to do developments and everything. And I think we had one time, or I know we did it in Bristol or something. I think it'd be a good opportunity if we ever, here in the future, if the commission would like to have maybe a little seminar or talk about opportunities like that. Try to schedule that sometime, just, you know.
I'd be happy to.
Okay.
I'm more than happy to.
We'll be happy to invite you, Joel, to our standing committees. We have 3 standing committees, and after we get those reappointed in September, we'll give you an invitation if you want to come out.
Sounds great.
Okay, thank you. Mr. McRae, you recognize what reason?
Just kind of dovetailing off of that, thank you, Chairman. I'd like to know, we know how much money we have outstanding on these TIFs. I'd like to know how much money we've increased on the tax rolls because of these TIFs. And I don't know if Mr. Bailey has any idea how much our property taxes have gone up. I would venture to guess we've probably tripled our money.
Thank you. I don't think we have that number, but it is a number. 94 million has been mentioned, and that would be an interesting number that we could come up with for you, Commissioner Baxter. We'll certainly look at that. Mr. King, you're right now. For what reason?
And I'd like to go what David said. What's available in the county? In the rural part of the county, is there any kind of programs that a developer could get help on roads? And that's something, I just want to be fair to all the developers. Whether they're doing it in the cities or whether they're doing it out in the rural part. You know, I think the people that's doing it in the rural part of the county, they're not getting any kind of benefits like that. They're not getting any help. I mean, like in our area where I live, we need a road bad. Allison Road needs to be widened, it needs to be straightened out. There was 78 homes put on it 2 years ago. There's been 14 more put on it. There's one being built right now on it. And it's just, and then all that whole area towards the lake is getting, there's houses being built. And we haven't done anything to roads. We haven't done anything to our infrastructure in that area. And are we gonna wait on Johnson City to come up there and do it for us and then annex us? That's what's gonna happen. That's what's happened in the past. The only thing is, when we got anything done, Johnson City came done it, and then they annexed us. So, I think we need to protect our area of Sullivan County and find out something, if there's something that we can do to help the other developers out here. And I'm not against the developer down there. I hope he does great with it. It's just, you know, let's be fair with everybody who, if they want to develop land, let's be fair to everybody to do it. And we need to have some talks and discussions on this. So.
I agree with you. Commissioner Jones, are you through? Or? Okay. Commissioner Jones wish to be recognized. Okay, Sam, you're right.
We do have that opportunity to line this through the County Industrial Development Board. We've just, everything we've received in the past has come from the cities, housing authority, but inside the county or outside the cities, it comes through the Industrial Development Board. We had something here about a year ago, and we're still working on it to bring it back. But everything that has been done in Piney Flats hasn't been annexed. We couldn't get sewer. We thought it was coming from Bristol because they had to the industrial board and to the park. But we had subdivisions out there on the east-north side of the red light that Johnson City agreed to come out and put sewers in. Now, they haven't annexed those subdivisions, but they provided a service that we needed for our cities, our citizens in the county. We got Johnson City sewer out around the airport, and they haven't come over and annexed it. So everything that they've put sewer in hasn't been annexed. That's just not correct.
I think and we're in the middle of our resolution agenda, and this discussion needs to be held. It really does. If you want to hold it tonight after this meeting, we'll do it then. Because there are good answers to these. And I would love to just jump in and tell you what I know about TIFs over the last 20 years. It's just not the place for it, nor the time for it. We're in the middle of our resolution agenda, and thank you for voting on that. There's a lot to be learned from TIFs. Martin Amitoff, who actually wrote the first law, has been to Sullivan County many we'll invite him and Joel back when the commission sees the opportunity. Next up, if I am in my proper place, I believe item number 10 is next. That would be Commissioner Sullivan. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This resolution is to apply for an energy and efficiency conservation grant in the amount of $78,530 and to appropriate the funds to improve the energy conservation for the Finance Administration Building, 49 is Blockville Elementary School, located at 155 School Avenue in Blockville. Whereas the grant coordinator has reviewed the energy grant with the Financial Management Committee along with the purchasing agent and the finance director to have both their input and evaluation of the grant. Whereas the F&A building has need to improve energy conservation for the building as well as to improve the working environment for the building. Therefore, be resolved that the Sullivan County Board of County Commissioners of Sullivan County, Tennessee, assembled in regular session, approves the application for the energy grant to provide more efficiency and improve the working environment by appropriating $78,530 to make improvements to the Finance Administration Building. In order to become more efficient, account codes be assigned for the Finance Department. This is a zero matching grant. It's from the U.S. Department of Energy. It's 100% formula funded, $78,530. Mr. Ball felt this. This was sent to her for review. She brought it forward to us, and the application has to be turned in by October 31st. Projects must be completed within 2 years of receiving the award. Can apply for expansion if needed. And it's for to improve energy consumption in the building. And that building, it does qualify for this grant. And it's for insulation, HVAC upgrades, and things for the building. So I'd like to put this on waiver of rules so that Mr. Vault can turn the proper paperwork back into the U.S. Department of Energy so this can be awarded and done by October 31st.
You've heard the explanation. Mr. Glover moves to waive the rules, immediate introduction document, seconded by Commissioner Vanover. You've heard the explanation. Commissioner Vanover, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to say that item 10, the grant dollars there, item 11, those grant dollars are both there as a result of a position that this body created a few months ago. And I just want to congratulate this body for having the wisdom and the foresight to create that position. She's already brought in more dollars in the last month than we'll pay her all year long. So from now on, what she brings in is just going to be on top of her salary. So I just think this commission's done a very good job creating that position, and very proud of that. That's just one example. I'm very proud of a lot of things this commission's done, but that's just one example. So good resolution, good grant, so hope everyone can support it.
Thank you, Mr. Vanover. sponsor renews his motion. Any further discussion? Seeing none, when the board opens, please.
Everybody votes in the affirmative will be a co-sponsor, Mr. Sorry. Everybody that votes in the affirmative will be a co-sponsor.
Without objection, all voting in the affirmative would be listed as a co-sponsor on the resolution. The board opens, please cast your vote on item number 2. Everyone voted? Anyone wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
21 yes, 3 absent.
Received necessary majority, item number 10 is adopted. Next up, item number 12. Commissioner Ward, you're recognized on item number 12.
Thank you, Chair. We've run into a couple little kinks. I'm gonna put this on first reading. We've got to fine tune just a couple things. But I brought this up a few months ago about putting in a baby box somewhere in Sullivan County. We put it on the back burner. We were having some issues as far as maybe the funds and just location. I got a call last week to be in the sheriff's office. I wasn't in trouble this time. He asked me if I was still fired up about a baby box. I told him I was. He said, call this lady right here. She's got your funds. So I made a new friend. Her name's Jessica White. Mayor, if it's okay, I'd like to introduce her and have her come up and speak a little bit about this.
Yes,
if that's
sir.
okay.
We'll be happy
Jessica,
to do
just come up to the. This is Jessica White. She is did all the fundraising, and she spearheaded this, and she'd like to put one in Sullivan County and also in Kingsport and Bristol.
Madam, if you would give us your name and address for our electronic record.
My name is Jessica White. My address is 910 Wilcox Court in Kingsport. I've been a lifelong resident of this county, just pretty much just a short time I moved away, but I'm back. But anyway, I'm very passionate about safe haven baby boxes because no baby deserves to be found dead. When you're taking your kids to the park, when you're going hunting and fishing, you shouldn't have to find a dead baby. But they are being found every single day in the United States, which is pitiful because we have enough money in the United States to stop this, but we're not. And safe haven baby boxes started to be able to help this problem, and they are proven to work. So far, they say 50 babies that were put in boxes and 150 babies that were surrendered to a personnel by hand after they spoke to somebody from safe haven. So this works. It is some way that we can help women who might be experiencing mental health issues, which we don't address enough. They might be human trafficked. There's a lot of issues, or they could even be your neighbor next door who you would never think would do this. This has no barriers. Women who abandon their babies, you know, they're of all races, they're of all classes, they have all different backgrounds, but no baby deserves this. They don't. And I feel like that Sullivan County would benefit from this a lot. We have had several instances where there have been issues with babies. And I don't think that our EMS and our police officers deserve that. I think if we can give them an opportunity for these mothers to have a safe place to surrender that's legal under the law, the Tennessee law allows this, then we should. The money is raised. I have raised the $20,000 for the first box, and I'm working on more additional boxes if it can get approved. And I don't really see any reason why this, you know, is a problem. But I would like to answer any questions that you have or any concerns. And hopefully we can make this work and we can help our children. Thank you.
Thank you. We're in recess, so anybody have any questions for our guests? Mr. Pano.
Miss Jessica, good to see you.
Good to see you.
She's a friend of my wife and daughter, so I know she's worked hard to get this done for a long time. So Travis said it may be a few hurdles to get over here, but we'll get over them and we'll get this done. So thank you for where you work and thank you for all your passion about this. So thank you, and just feel confident that it'll get done.
Thank you, Commissioner Crawford. We're still in recess.
I noticed the handout that we got, it says that these boxes are to be installed at a firehouse or hospital.
Or EMS station.
An EMS station
Yes,
could
sir.
be, okay. All right.
Any facility that is manned 24/7 that has emergency personnel, these boxes, it can be approved for the box to be put in there.
Have you got either of those areas already approved that they agreed to let you place a box there?
That is something that me and Mr. Ward are working on.
Okay.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments for our guests? Seeing none, thank you for being with us tonight. We're back in session. Mr. Ward, you want this on first reading, or?
I would. A couple more things is, the box is about $20,000. Then there's a $41 a month, service fee. It's a monitoring fee is what it is, for their alarms and the alarms that go to 911. There's a $500 one-time fee yearly for, a service to it, just to make sure everything's working. They do it once a year. In this donation, the first 3 years are covered. And then Monday night, and I was trying to figure all this out. I got a text from my little buddy right here. He agreed to pay for a year. And I agreed to pay for a year. So there'll be 5 years paid for. And we're working on, we ran into a little catch with the location, but we've got two other prospects. So I want to put this on first reading so we can fine tune a few things. And I apologize for not getting the contract to Dan. I want to make sure there's a lot of verbiage in there that I need his expertise with. So we'll put this on first reading. That's okay.
Thank you, Commissioner. Without objection, first reading. We have folks that want to speak on this. Commissioner Aker?
Thank you, Chairman. And thank you, Travis, for bringing this forward. When you mentioned in, I guess, the email or something about it a few months ago, must have been a meeting I missed because I had no knowledge of it. I've been sitting here reading this thing and just dumbfounded how we don't have this already. We spend, $100 million a year on a budget here. We do incentivize developers on tax incentive financing to do things. And I applaud you and your cohort next to you saying, you'll pay for a year, but we're talking about saving a baby's life. We're talking about $20,000. There's no one more that hates spending money right after we pass a budget. But this just seems like common sense to me. And we're very happy that Ms. White has fundraised and maybe to get the first box, and then we can do some other stuff. But I mean, I'm a absolute yes and a no-brainer on this, in my opinion. I do think locations are important, and I think that's obviously a very important thing. But we talk about saving humans and lives, and I've never been in a position, or anyone in my family to be in a position where they could take care of someone, but I can't imagine not having a safe space or a safe haven as it is. And if we're the kind of community that we want to be, for 0.005% of our budget, I mean, that's just a no-brainer and everything. So I look forward to you having the finalized resolution and seeing what all we can do with that.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Means, you're recognized. Okay. Mr. Jones, you're recognized.
I was just looking at the state law. The law just came into effect in '22, and I'd like to recognize, I see that our state representative Crawford and Hawkins County Hawk were co-sponsors on this resolution. It's this bill that came through. I guess I'm wanting to understand, you would have 3 boxes in Sullivan within Sullivan County, one in Bristol, one somewhere within the county, and one in Kingsport. Is that the proposal?
Potentially, yes.
Yes, that is the hope. The hope is, that we can have baby boxes in multiple places. 3 is the starting point, but if we can have these more than 3, that would be great too.
And I'm fully supported. So each box has a $500 fee to start with, and the monitoring fee, as you read through the resolution from the state, it requires that.
Yes, it does.
So that's what the $41 is, the monitoring fee.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I do want to let you know too that the law was enacted, the safe haven law was enacted before 2022, but they went back and they adjusted the law to be able to include these devices. You have always been able to drop off a baby at a police station, EMS, fire department, hospital, places like that. You have been able to do that. But most women are not going to do that, especially in a small town, because then they're going to be criticized. It's going to be all over Facebook. So-and-so gave the baby away. And so anonymously, this works much better.
I know the lady in, I think, Washington County that drove her car into the lake this past week with the baby in it. There were a lot of issues involved, but to me, this could have solved an issue before it got to that point.
Yes, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Glover, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. When I came in the other night and read the email Travis had sent out, I knew what it meant to him last time when he brought that in here to get passed. And I know how hard he's worked on it. And Brenda and I have a little 5-year-old granddaughter that's in pre-K this year. And she is so much fun. She's the enjoyment of our life. And I can only imagine what some of these mothers are going through, being single or scared, and we just don't know what we do without her. And when I read Travis's email that he sent out to all the commissioners, I told him, I said, we're going to step up, we're going to help Travis, and we're going to help the mothers and the people of the county. And I guess another reason this means a lot to me, and I'm being serious about this, I could have ended up in one of those boxes. My mom and dad got divorced when I was very small, and I could have ended up in one of those boxes. And I lost my mother about 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago tomorrow. We wasn't very close. You can ask Brenda, she lived half a mile from us. And, things happen. But she passed away that morning at 11 o'clock, and we didn't even know until 6:30 that evening. And we went to a period of time there, about 10 years, that we didn't even, and I was small, probably 9, 10 years old before I ever laid eyes on her after that. So I applaud what Travis has done. And that's the good work that the people in this commission do. We're family in here, and we stand up for each other. We're not always going to agree, and we're not put here to agree. But that means a lot to Brenda and myself, and if he needs another year, we're going to step up and do another year. It's going to be done. So, thank you, Travis. Appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you. Commissioner Gardner, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. And just a question for Commissioner Ward, if I may. Is simply accepting the $20,000, is that contingent upon having certain parts of the program implemented before we can accept it? Since you said you're going to run on first read, okay? All right, thank you. That's all I was wondering.
Thank you. Any other, anyone seek recognition? Objection to pass over, Jessica, you're recognized.
Mr. Chairman, I just got a message about, they're trying to put one on, this is not Sullivan County, but in Bristol, Virginia as well, and they're having a fundraiser at St. Anne's in October, so if you know anybody on that side, Bristol folks, so thank you.
Moving on to item 13, Mr. Council, you're recognized on item 13.
Thank you, Mayor. This resolution is to approve allocations of up to $95,526.01 in state opioid Abatement Fund receipts to the Sullivan County Anti-Drug Coalition. And we had 2 years to spend this amount of money, and it was received in September 22. And we've already received the application from the director of that. And Sheriff Cassidy and the judges, Conkin, Toohey, and Nelson highly recommends this anti-drug coalition to receive up to $95,526.01 of this money. So I am asking for waiver of rules. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer them.
Commissioner Calvin moves to waive the rules, immediate introduction and adoption of items 13, seconded by Commissioner Carr. We have Ms. Alice McCaffrey with us, who heads up the Sullivan County Anti-Drug Coalition. Ms. McCaffrey applied many months ago and has received some state cuts this year. I don't generally comment on resolutions, but this is money from the opioid lawsuits that were filed by the state attorney general. Commissioner Glover, you're recognized on.
Darlene, this money is gonna stay in Sullivan County, correct?
Yeah, well, yes it is.
Okay. So it's gonna be the opioid money that we approved a couple of years ago on the baby doll money, is that it?
We're
Okay.
going to be receiving some more, I think, after 4 years, 2 more years, I guess.
Okay, okay. Now, you're talking about the sheriff recommending, what are these folks gonna be doing with this money? Are they gonna be doing drug prevention in schools? Are they gonna be doing, what are they gonna be using the
Let me ask Mr. McCaffrey.
That'd be great.
McCaffrey to come up and
Okay.
explain the program. And she has was a resident of our county health department original building, but she moved out. Mr. McCaffrey, we're going to recess for you to explain the use of this money.
So we've received money from the state 4 years ago to develop this program that we've been putting together with the jail and the court system for folks who were affected by the opioid crisis. So if you are in jail and your crime is related to your substance abuse disorder, then you can get help from us. And the judges have fully, I can't say enough for how much they have endorsed and supported the work that we're doing. In fact, a lot of times someone will come in front of them in the court. If some of my staff is there, they'll say, go talk to them and come back to see what we can do to help. In the 4 years, our program has gotten better and better. We've gotten more support from the judges. We've received about $450,000 from the state to develop it. That money, that grant ends September 30th. It is probably the best program that we have. In fact, I use it to get the rest of my staff to go, come on, you can do better. Look at these guys. So it's been very effective. We have served 637 people in jail in those 4 years. For us, we've been slowly improved the number of folks that stick with the program. Our stats say we're up to about 38% are successful with it. But Vanderbilt, up until last year, was also assessing the program. And they say for anyone who stuck with us for 12 months, 50% no longer use drugs. Only 3 ever overdosed again, but none of them died. 71% are employed. 57% have long-term housing. And so what we see is this is such an important program. It not only helps people get jobs, become functioning family members, citizens who pay taxes, but we also save money every time somebody doesn't have another night in jail. And so 4 years we've developed the program with state money. We're asking for the settlement funds, which really serve the people that we're trying to help, you know, and it's local.
So are you doing counseling with them? Are you trying to place them in a job? Are you trying to?
A little bit of everything. So half of my staff is in recovery. They're certified peer recovery specialists. They can make contact and an instant connection with people because they've been there. They're also a role model. They show folks what recovery looks like because you have to be in recovery for 2 years to even apply to be a certified peer recovery specialist. So they know what it's like. The judges are often releasing people, telling my staff to take them to jail, or not to jail, to treatment from jail. They write it into the order because they know if anything goes awry with the agreement, we will also report to the judges. And you know, we're not just trying to help you. Like, it's not helpful to people to let them get away with doing the wrong thing. So they'll go back to jail if they don't keep their agreement that they made with the judge. And so I think that's why the judges are supporting us so much. Then we pick them up for treatment, we take them to parole and get that going. We make sure that they have a safe place to live, and a lot of that, there's been a lot of recovery housing that has developed over the last 5 years. And then, because to be in recovery housing, you have to pay rent. So we help, or they help, get jobs. You know, we just do everything we can to support them. What we're finding is somewhere around 9 months, the magic happens. And they're either going to continue to be successful, or we often say, we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Ward, you're recognized.
Does Scott Stottle work for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Mayor, I want to
Except we call them Stodola.
Sedona, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
That's Bloomingdale coming out in me right there. Mayor, I want to apologize. We had a phone call the other day, and I told you that I didn't. So I want to comment on this. I work closely with Scott in pretrial, and we use him quite a bit. He was an addict.
Oh, yeah.
And he may be one of the nicest guys that
Oh,
I've
yeah.
had in my entire life.
I've had a couple of them.
Yeah, Scott works extremely hard with these people. This is a huge partnership between the Drug Coalition, the courts, pretrial. We all work as a team. We put these people on the program. We use some electronic devices. We help them get to and from some places. The very first one that we didn't go too well. Her boyfriend met her behind the clinic and cut an ankle monitor off. But since that, we met and was like, what are we doing? But I bet we haven't had a bad one since. I mean, I'm talking 30 or 40 success stories, and they've been very good. We just had a lady come in last week. She had graduated from the program, she had gotten a job, and she had gotten her kids back. So, very great, very good program. Very proud to be part of it.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anybody else have questions for Mr. Kaplan? Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
We're ready to vote on, I believe. Any questions for the sponsor? Seeing none, when the board opens, cast your vote on item 13. Is everyone voting? Anyone wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
21 yes, 3 absent.
I received necessary majority. Item 13 is adopted. And that completes our resolution agenda for this evening. I will congratulate you on past Commissioner Means. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to take a point of privilege to just speak about something. If you all don't mind, I think it'd be something that the commission would be interested in knowing about. I have a gentleman here to speak with you all, and I forgot to direct him to the public comment, so it's not my fault, or not his fault, it's totally mine. And if it's okay, I'd like to allow him to speak, if that's okay. Okay, so Mr. Nelson, if you don't mind.
Yes, we will go back into public comment section without objection. And we'll recognize, would you like to introduce the guest? Or if you'll give us your name and address for our electronic records.
Yes, Peter Nelson, I'm president of Tennesseans for Life.
And our normal procedure in our public comment is 3 minutes, but I'm not going to hold you to that at this time of night, so.
I'll make it quick, I
Okay,
promise.
I won't hold you to 3 minutes. You make your point.
So thank you so much for the couple minutes here. Of course, Tennesseans for Life, we're a pro-life organization in the Tri-Cities area. We actually support the 5 pregnancy support centers in the area. And I thought it was kind of funny talking about, not funny, but talking about the Safe Haven baby boxes, because I'm helping the Knights of Columbus in Bristol, Virginia, to actually, they want to put the first Safe Haven baby box in the whole state of Virginia, in Bristol, Virginia. They already have a firehouse, I believe, lined up for that. So anyways, I thought that was pretty interesting. But we have a fundraiser every year, September 28th, at the Ron Ramsey Agricultural Center. All the proceeds, all the net proceeds go towards supporting the 5 pregnancy support centers. There are 2 of those in Sullivan County, Hope House, of course, in Kingsport, and then Pathways in Bristol. So please, if you can make it out, September 28th, 6 to 9 p.m. We have a real spitfire for a guest speaker. We have John Henry Weston from LifeSite News. And previously, one of our speakers, for example, was Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson, who soon to be the governor of North Carolina. So we've had some pretty good speakers in the past. And anyways, just thank you for this time. And I think it was very special what Jessica is doing here on the Tennessee side. And I work on both sides of the states, and so maybe we can actually work together on this with her. So thank you very much. God bless and Godspeed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Nelson.
you. Good luck with your fundraiser, and that's with the Cattlemen's Association.
Yes, sir. That's what I was going to say. It is actually at the Ag Center on September 28th. There's going to be an excellent speaker. We're going to have an excellent, delicious steak dinner provided by the wonderful Cattlemen's Association. But just since we're being real tonight, I don't know, many of you all know this, but I became pregnant when I was 14 years old, had my first child when I was 15, and if it wasn't for organizations like what the Tennesseans for Life supports, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. So I'm not asking for taxpayer dollars. I just, I know you all are just the best of all folks. So I hope that you all will be able to make time to come out, and I'll have you an invitation, and I will just annoy you to death about it. So thanks for letting us have that moment.
We need your address. I'm sorry we didn't get it. Could you give us your address for our electronic record? Our clerk, my oversight, and thank you if you
could. It's 136 Grubb Lane, G-R-U-B-B Lane, Bristol, Tennessee, 276.
That's great. And again, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Other commissioners seek recognition at this time. Beautiful dog day evening out there. So, we got 3. Commissioner Cross, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to thank everybody for the prayers and concern for my son having his surgery. I couldn't be at that meeting. He had tonsils and adenoids taken out. Everything's going well. He's still a bit fussy, which is to be expected, having something pulled out of your throat at 1 year old, but he is doing well, and I appreciate all the concern. Thank you.
I remember I screwed up and Mr. Crosswhite, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Everyone should have one of these on their desk. It's our ribbon cutting. We're finally getting our museum open. You're going to be amazed, is all I can say. So please, if you can attend, let me know, because we will have refreshments, and I hope everyone can come. It's interesting.
Thank you. Mr. King, you're recognized.
Thank you. Our Sullivan County Soil Conservation District here in Sullivan County is having a fundraiser, and we're going to do it down at the Ron Ramsey Center. And it's called I think it's the Sullivan County Ag Day And what we're doing is we're gonna have several different speakers in. We're gonna have food trucks, and we're gonna have door prizes. We're gonna have a little live auction. But the main attraction is we have got a dunking booth that we're going to set up. And our main attraction is going to be Mr. Herschel Glover. So Herschel and I have agreed for the dunking booth. For $10, you get 3 balls.
I'm bringing $1,000.
There you go. So, whatever you bring, we'll take. But anyway, we this is what we do, fundraisers for scholarships. That's what we do. How deep?
Okay, I'm off control.
But anyway, it's a good. You'll be a good time, and I think September the
October 10th.
no, October 10th. There you go. You got the tickets. He's ready to go. So, but anyway, I'd like to invite everyone here to come down, start practicing, get your arm built up there. Brenda's already. She's getting all kinds of people to come. I mean, there's probably going to be a line out the door of people. When Herschel gets on the podium, he'll be...
For Herschel, the whole sheriff's office.
Yeah, probably the sheriff's office will be there. So anyway,
Very good. Thank you. Sam, you're recognized.
I missed the work session. I was in Springfield, Illinois at the AMVETS National Convention. And this year, former County Commissioner Bill Kilgore received the highest award that AMVETS give, the silver helmet. There is one higher, it's called the gold helmet. And when he was national commander, he presented that to George W. Bush. But this was kind of unexpected. I don't know that Bill really knew he was going to receive it. And it was a really high honor for him. And I'm glad I was able to be there to participate in that ceremony. So, thank you.
Former member of this body, Commissioner Glover, you can retort.
I would like to say, make sure you get your tickets early for the softballs for the dunking booth, because Commissioner Akert is right. I'd say when the sheriff's department line up, and then all the teachers and the administrators line up, I think there's gonna be buses going back and forth hauling all those folks in. So if everybody wants, make sure you get there early and get lined up. But it's going for a good cause. It's going for a scholarship for the kids and ag, and have futures for them, and please come. So I've agreed to do this, and I'm gonna get in the water first before Dwight does. I'm gonna get with Pam and make sure that she gets him trimmed up and foofed up pretty good before he comes over, because we've got him a Holstein colored Speedo. So Dwight don't know that yet, and a little set of cow horns. So we'll be ready. So please, I'll tell all your friends, get everybody lined up and come, and we'll have a good time. Thank you.
Thank you. Larry?
I noticed, we got notice from the TCCA that we're having our regional meeting. Sam, do you remember that date? I don't have it with me, but it's coming up in October? Okay. So you should be receiving notice, or have received it.
Okay, I'm about to lose control again here.
Wait.
No. We got Commissioner Vanover, Commissioner Counter 24. You're recognized.
Thank you. I misspoke. The festivities that Dwight talked about, the Ag Days, October 19th. It starts at 10 o'clock in the morning. I don't want anybody to miss it. 10 to 4, October 19th on Saturday, so didn't want to mess anybody up.
Commissioner Gallup, you're recognized.
Thank you. Are those scholarships for anybody in Sullivan County that applies?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
It's for seniors going into college.
Okay, but all high schools?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
West Ridge and Sullivan East.
Okay.
And Tennessee IDB.
Okay, thank you.
Dwight, you're recognized.
Where Herschel got about the suit, when I had my 40th surprise birthday party, I just thought everything was cool, and then we had a big thing that, yeah, well, it wasn't too G-rated, but anyway, my wife hired this young lady in a cow, dotted cow, black and white, with her head and horns, to do a exotic dance. So anyway, that's where all this come from, but anyway, she didn't strip down, but there wasn't a whole lot to be imagined, so anyway.
I think this meeting's over.
All right.
We're adjourned.